Well, good morning, guys, and welcome back to Winding Racing. Well, today is a very exciting day because we are going to get started on the front suspension for Frankenbuggy. This is a long time coming, and I can't wait to get started here. Now, these are the shocks that a friend of mine donated to the cause, which I can't even express my gratitude, so this project can move forward. What I am gonna end up doing here right now is I need to cut out these pieces of tubing, 3/4 inch tubing that's basically holding the car up. I got to pull the spring off of one of these shocks and bottom it out all the way. Then I'm going to drop the frame down to that 8-inch level because I don't want this thing bottoming out any lower than that. And then that's going to determine the height of the top mount. Now I'm going to have to run down to the tubing store and get some tubing because the plate that I have, I was thinking of doing something out of plate, but the plate I have is only 1/8 inch plate. And so I'm going to build a structure out of tubing and then go ahead and gusset it with the plate because I want a real sturdy top mount on this thing. So I'm gonna get busy working here. I got to get the springs off, get this thing all set to the right elevation. So I tell you, it's a little cold and wet today. It rained here all night, as you can see. It's a little bit windy today, but we'll get done what we can, and hopefully the rain doesn't come back. Ay. When's summer coming back, huh? Anyways, guys, I'm gonna get to work. We'll see you in a bit. Now, after cutting those support bars out and letting it drop, you can see I don't want it to drop any lower than that, or else I'll be digging dirt in the whoopie-doo. So I don't want to do that. So I went ahead and I pulled the spring off of one of these shocks right here. Now I'm going to compress it a little bit more and kind of get an idea where I want to put it. So, because that will be the low spot in the suspension, low spot in the shock. So let's see how this looks. bit of Air Force action here. Get that nice and depressed. So we're actually about at the frame now. That's going to come up a little bit there. So now, one issue that I do have with these shocks is that the shock travel itself, although they are 28 inches eye to eye, the shock travel, as you can see, is only 10 inches. I would like to have at least 18 inches of travel, wheel travel. So the further out I bring the shock, with only 10 inches of shock travel, the less wheel travel I'll have. The further in, the more I will. But that'll also put more stress on the spring and the mounting. I might have to get heavier springs. I don't know. That is all something that we'll have to figure out through the process. So let me get an idea of the wheel travel if I mount it right there. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna tack things into place there, the bottom mount, and then elevate it and see where we're at. So let me do a little bit of work. I'll bring you back in just a little bit. All right, guys, well, I got a little bit of work done here. I made up a couple of mounts, top and bottom. This is still at the bottomed out right here, 8 inches from the ground. Shock is pretty much bottomed out there. There's about a 1/4 inch there, but that's about it. Now, to make my little mounts, I just had a couple of these wrought iron pedestal brackets there, little plates there in my metal pile over there, and drilled a hole. That's 1.5 inch hole down the center, and then I cut them. So they made these nice little mounts here. That's the 1.5 inch hole there, fits the tubing perfectly. And then the flats there. Now, on another day, most likely tomorrow, I'm going to be pulling these bottom arms off and cleaning them all up and putting some rust inhibitor on the inside there. Then I'm going to plate the top. And so this mount will have additional welding onto that plate there. I got some 1/8 inch plate there. I'm going to be using that to go over the top of these lower arms there. So this is how it's sitting right now. And I'm gonna go ahead, let's jack it up, let's top it off, top it up, get it to the top of the shock, and see what kind of suspension travel I'll have there. So let's get this done. Starting to see how that's gonna sit there at the top. So that right there is totally topped out. So when I'm flying off a jump, that's where the suspension is going to drop to, right there. As you can see, that's about the limit of my my structure there also. So now, I thought I measured 10 inches of travel. So I think it is actually my A-arms topping out. And I got a few inches of shock still to utilize there. Because that's 7. I've got 3 more inches of shock. So I'm gonna have to weld another piece of 1.5 inches in there, and I'm gonna bring that shock back a little bit. And what that will do, not only will I be using the entire shock, but it'll soften up the ride a little bit, or actually make the spring rate a little bit heavier, which I have a feeling in tight like that it might be a little soft. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna do that little bit of fabrication work there. I'm gonna move that bottom out a bit, change the angle a little bit, put a little less stress on the structure of everything, springs and everything, and because I want that to be basically where the shock tops out, because that's the limit to my my suspension there, my A-arms. That's it, and frankly that's enough. So I'm going to cut that bottom mount, then let the shock come all the way to the top of it, and that's where I'm going to put the lower mount. Okay, all in the process. Once I figure out exactly where to put the top and bottom mounts, that we can continue on with the fabrication. So I'm gonna get to work here. Yeah, this is cool. It's gonna work out just fine. We'll see you in a bit. Well guys, I went back and forth a couple of times. When I first mounted the bottom in here, it would top out perfectly, but the front suspension would not drop down as far as I wanted. So I moved it on out to this point. And the problem with that was that it would top out fine, but it would not bottom out where I wanted, and basically would end up with the front end dropping to the ground. I had a good 3 inches of shock left over here when the suspension, the framework was all bottomed out. So what I did was I came up and I made a happy medium here. Now this is topped out as high as it's gonna go, because as you can see, these, I believe they call them uniballs there, that one is about kinked all the way. So I don't want to go any closer than that. We got them on the bottom there too, and you see that's actually hitting the spindle there. So topping out, that's as far as it's going to go. Now let's drop this down and I'll show you where this this ends up here. Now, that's dropped down as far as it go. I measured that, and that's about 7 inches. I was looking for 8, but as you can see, we still got 2 inches of shock there. So what I'm going to end up doing, we can get bushings that'll fit on the shock rod there that will actually give it a little bit of cushion there. So basically shorten the drop down with a urethane bushing. So that will eliminate the drop down. I don't want it to go any more than that. The uniball here, this is pretty much topped out here on that side. And underneath there, I'm actually gonna have to look at the video because I'm not gonna get down that far. But I'm sure that's pretty far down too. You can see the travel of the uniball. This one here is just about touching there. So that's the limit of the framework that I got there. But what I'm gonna have to do is put a little bushing in there just to have that shock bounce on a bushing. Because if I land real hard, it's going to end up bending stuff. So these uniballs, they're doing their job. They're going as far as they can. So I'm going to go ahead and fabricate the other side. I'm hoping that doesn't come here. I already got sprinkled on a little bit. But I'm going to go ahead and do all the mounts on this side here, put the springs on, and see what the spring rate feels like, see what the suspension feels like. And if everything is everything's feeling good, then I basically got to take everything apart and put that top plate on. Like I said, got to clean everything up, get all the rust out, rust inhibitor, put the plates on, and basically rebuild this front end so it's ready to go. But I wanted to test drive the suspension. I think that's going to work out okay there. I'm going to bring some structure across here, but let me get this side put together and put the springs on. Let's see how this thing feels, and then we'll finish up the building of it on another day. Like I said, I hope I can it's supposed to rain, but I'm going to get some work done. I'll be back in a bit. Well guys, here it is. Getting a little rain today. I'm doing what I can underneath the porch here. But yeah, any welding out there, I don't think that's going to happen the rest of the day. So anyways, we kind of made a game plan how we're going to set up the suspension, and we'll just have to wait for better weather. I think tomorrow this is going to be gone, so I'll be able to finish things up tomorrow. Kind of bummed. Anyways, tomorrow's another day. We'll get on it then. Oh yeah. Not a good day for steel fabrication out in the rainstorm. Anyways guys, thanks a lot for watching. Like and subscribe. Keep watching these videos, because yeah, old Frankenbuggy. That's going to be a fun little car once I get it done. Anyways, we'll see you on the next one. Thanks a lot for watching.